someone that loves to travel and often prioritizes it in my life, I didn't think it would be this long until this day came. I feel out of my comfort zone, and yet this feeling of traveling and adventuring is so familiar to me. I think there was many things keeping me here. Some of the more obvious things like finances and work, and others I think deeper than I realized. Life just seemed to move faster and faster, and I was struggling to understand my path and find fulfillment. We can get stuck in our worlds in a sense, and we don't realize what else is out there. It's in these moments when I think it's even more important to ask ourselves if we're happy with ourselves and our lives, or if we're just comfortable. When I finally landed, one of the first things I did was come here to this beach. And to be honest, I felt like I was stepping into a dream. This waterfall was the first waterfall that I came across in El Yunque State Forest, and it was everything I imagined and more. All right, little car chat update. So essentially, yesterday when I landed at the San Juan airport from Florida, I got my period and had a migraine at the same time. So it was a really rough start to my trip. I was able to take some breaks and pick up the rental car and make some stops along the way. And then I did make it to my hostel, which was about 45 minutes from San Juan. And I ended up honestly just like resting and sleeping the whole night. So today I'm still not feeling well, but I am doing my best to be in good spirits because I'm really grateful to be here. And I've had a lot of reflections so far, even though I haven't gotten out a lot yet. I do feel like a different sort of calm inside of me, and I think even though it's a new place and whenever we're somewhere new, it's a little bit of a jarring experience for our nervous systems at first, initially, until we start to adapt. Even though I've still noticed, culturally speaking, I think it's a lot more slower pace, a lot more presence. The little town I'm staying in is super cute. I'm excited to like walk around a little bit more when I'm feeling better. It seems like it's a different sort of energy. I was talking to a woman who's from Puerto Rico at the hostel, and yeah, she was just saying that she's like, I feel essentially like not using these words, but she's like, I feel more like myself. It's where she's from, and I was like, I can see that. I think there's a lot of cultural pressure on us in the United States, and I think that there's always the pressure to be more, do more, make more money, look good. Like any sort of way that there's a competition, I feel that pressure. And even though Puerto Rico is part of the United States in a way, it's still not technically a state. So it still feels, in my opinion, I think it still feels different, and it is an island. And I honestly would love to be able to stay here for like at least a month and just live and be and explore and film and get to know the culture a little bit more deeply, because so far I actually really love it, and I'm looking forward to being able to see more of it. I did make it to the state forest El Yunque, which is where I'm at right now. I'm parked because I'm getting a little bit car sick because it's these tiny little roads winding up the mountain. But I am gonna go see a waterfall first, and I'm gonna capture some moments there, and then I do want to go for a little hike. So that's my plan. I'm kind of just like surrendering to what is, and even though I've had some moments of like, oh my god, I'm so upset that I don't feel well, I'm also, like, this is my trip. It can be whatever I want it to be, and this is just the reality of it sometimes. Our body does the best that it can, and sometimes it's just like everything hits at once, and I would love to be here longer so that I could experience more, but at the same time, this is like a beautiful taste of a country that has seemingly so much to offer and so much culture and so much beauty. And you know, a lot of people speak Spanish here. Most people speak Spanish here, and then a lot of people also speak English. So it's like this really awesome combination of kind of like Latin American culture mixed with the United States in some ways. So it's really interesting. So yeah, I'm excited to show you more, but I just wanted to give you a little car chat update. What a journey. You know, this is my first time leaving the US. I mean, like I'm technically in the US kind of still, but my first time leaving the state of Florida in a year and a half, and that in itself feels like pretty big. So I think it's, you know, also been longer than that since I've been on an airplane. So that's also really wild because normally I'm somebody that travels a lot and I prefer to travel more often. So, you know, circumstantially, and also part of me just didn't feel up for it until now. And then, you know, so when I look at it through that lens, I think I'm kind of like, okay, it makes sense. My body's reacting a little bit more strongly, and that we also have these things hitting at the same time, so I can understand from that perspective. And all that we can do is just like keep supporting ourselves. And, you know, I'm like, okay, I just need to rest more, so that might mean that I don't get to see as much, but, you know, it's not about like seeing and doing as much as possible necessarily. It's about the quality of the experience. So I'm just reminding myself of that, and this journey is whatever it's supposed to be also. So yeah, just wanted to give you a little update. I did it. I hiked to a waterfall, and this is what I wanted the whole time. There's all these really cool red rocks that I want to show you. I will show you some of these ones. You see, it's sort of like a clay deposit. Do you ever have that feeling like, maybe I'm slipping, like everything you ever wanted was in this moment? Kind of how I'm feeling right now. The amount of effort it took me to hike to get to this location and hike down to it on day 2 of my period was insane. So if this isn't magic, I don't know what is. I'm just wrapping up the hike, and I'm so exhausted, but I'm so happy. I feel a lot of gratitude right now. Not because it all was easy. It definitely was really hard, a lot of it, but
I think just because this is what I wanted for so long, and now I'm finally here experiencing it. We never know what to expect in life. We can have all of these images, all of these thoughts of what something might be like, but until we actually experience it firsthand ourselves in the moment. And also, every time we do the same activity, it'll be different every single time. It's never going to be the same, it's always different. We may get the same feelings for some of it, but it still, in the end, is a different experience, you know? Regardless of what your goals and your dreams and your visions are, they don't have to be what anyone else wants or doesn't want with their lives. All that matters is what you want or don't want to do with your life. Because who cares what everyone else wants? It's not their life, it's your life, right? So, how can we step out of that conformity and into creating our own blooming inside of ourselves, into becoming the versions and living the versions of our lives that we've always wanted? How can we shed all of the skins of what should be and step into everything that is?
Here I'm actually hiking up to another waterfall in El Yunque State Forest. There's a lot of waterfalls here in the state park, and unfortunately there was quite a few of them were closed because of, I think, because of the rain. But I was really grateful to be able to see so many waterfalls like I did. And on the walk up, there was all of these just beautiful, lush plants like ferns and all of this moss. It felt very much like that movie. I don't know if you've heard of it, Fern Gully. I felt like, in a way, I was in Fern Gully. And all of these people here are just appreciating nature. Honestly, I didn't, because I had such a beautiful moment and moments in the hike that I did by myself, I didn't feel too overwhelmed by the people. I actually appreciated that they were appreciating nature so much. And it was really, cool to see so many people like wanting their classic waterfall picture and taking their moment and being here. And it was a little bit of a hike. I think it was maybe like 10 or 15 minutes, so not super far. But I was able to get my own moment with the waterfall and capture some special moments. And the moss on the rocks was just really, really cool. This is the moss and the rocks that I was talking about. It was very alluring and mesmerizing, all the different colors and textures. It was definitely more vibrant in person. It was hard to capture. But I think there are some, both species of moss and I think also species of lichen in there as well. Just very, very green and lush. Someone I met along the way had found this really cool looking snail. It looks like a glowworm. These next views are from, there was a sort of lookout tower, and although the tower part was closed, I was able to get some really beautiful shots of the coastline and the Caribbean Sea. And this is one thing that I really love and appreciate about Puerto Rico is there's both this beautiful combination of these mountains and these forests, and there's also these beautiful, amazing beaches and the ocean as well. This rock cliff reminded me actually of Colorado in a sense. It felt very mountain-esque. This beach is actually the beach that was right next to my hostel, and I met a beautiful friend, and she walked with me along this beach. We crossed this little river here, and so the river connects to the ocean, and this is where it goes out. But we went for this beautiful little beach sunset walk, and there's something really special about this beach because it's essentially, I think it's a sort of state park or like protected area. Maybe not a state park, but a protected area over on the right hand side here. So all of that area, there's not any houses, there's not any sort of hotels or buildings or structures of any kind. All of it is this expansive beach area. And I think I was talking to some of the workers at the hostel, and I believe they said I think it's around 7 miles of this expansive, open, sort of protected area of this beach. So it's just very, when I was here, I felt this sense of just being so much at peace. I felt so grounded, and it's also, the ocean is very strong and intense here. So you actually are not able to swim because of the coral reefs are very close to the water. So you're not able to swim, it's not safe, but you can appreciate it in a different way. Sometimes I think for me, it's like the strength of the ocean is, it's just this beautiful reminder of the power of Mother Earth and of nature. And so I loved coming to this beach, and I would love to come back here sometime because it just was so, it was so beautiful, but it had this like very specific energy as well. So this is the river that I was talking about. And when I was here, I remember asking the employees at the hostel, like, is there alligators? Do I need to be concerned about different mammals and things like that? Because living in Florida, I'm so used to all of the rivers and lakes being like infested with alligators. But actually, they said no, and there's not any mammals, like larger mammals that live on the island. So it's actually relatively safe to go kayaking. And so this is one of the sea turtle nests that I was talking about. You see how it's like blocked off, and I don't know if you know this about me, but I actually used to work with sea turtle species and when I lived in Barbados. And this nest in particular looked like it was a leatherback or a hawksbill sea turtle nest. My new friend and I went out for like this beautiful dinner, and we saw some live music, and then we actually went for this really nice walk by the beach.
I just was having some thoughts as I'm laying here. Here's a view for perspective. And I realized I don't think I've felt this much peace or this relaxed since I was living in Argentina on the beach. That was about 2.5 years ago. just an interesting reflection and thought. And why is it that things feel so different when I'm outside the US? I know Puerto Rico is like technically a part of the US, but it's still different in a lot of ways. Curious of your thoughts and your perspective if you've had the opportunity to leave the US, or if you are from somewhere else and you have just visited the US. I'm curious on the different feelings for you. I know that I'm not the only one that feels this way, but it just is like a continual feeling that always comes back. I feel like if I stayed here for another week, my nervous system would be like top notch. Like being here 48 hours, I'm like, damn. Wow. It's a different kind of calm, it's a different kind of support. Look at this view. Pure magic. I honestly feel like my skin has even improved in 2 days. Like, if that's not telling, I don't know what is. So maybe the realization is maybe we just all need to live in nature 100% all the time. Or at least have longer periods of time spent in nature. So food for thought. I just want to live in nature and be happy and free. That's all I want. That's all I want in this life.